actually. Bear with me a second. Okay. Oh, I've got some lovely messages. I don't think Marcia can see the messages that you send through. I'm going to be in control of the messages that get sent through, and I will ask her the questions as we go through. So you've had one from Inga saying, good luck, Marcia. So just to pass that one on. So, but yeah, the way it's going to work, first of all, I will introduce you all to Marcia. Some of you guys won't know me. Some of you will come through having known her, and some of you will not know either of us. So we'll give you a bit of an overview on who we are. Then we will go through the webinar. I don't know what is coming. I'm very excited to hear what Marcia has to say. And if you have any questions, you want to type it into the question box. And when we have a moment, we will get to the questions and I will read them out and hopefully we will get some answers over to you. So, official start, I'm going to introduce Marcia O'Regan, who is an international colour therapist and trainer. And she's awesome. I've really enjoyed getting to know her over the past few weeks. This is who she is. She's a passionate colour expert and she uses the power and knowledge of colour to expand people in their businesses and their life beyond wildest dreams. And she created Colour Harmony so that she can share the ancient secret power behind colour for health, well-being, harmony and business. And I just thought that sounded absolutely amazing. And when she read out some information about colour to do with me and my birthday yesterday, it just knocked me for six. So I'm very excited to say that actually the saying showing your true colours is a very apt saying, which is what she says. And she's here to shed some light on the many of the dark spots in our life so that we can have the secret knowledge and the power of colour that so far has been kept a secret from us. So it's very exciting. Welcome, Marcia. Thank you so much for being here today and spending the time to help educate everybody on why colour is so important.
Wonderful. It's a total pleasure.
It's great to have you. So, I'm not sure. Are you ready to start the webinar and continue?
Yeah, ready to go. Yep.
Excellent. That's great.
Excellent.
So it's just gone 8 o'clock. So I'm going to hand over to Marcia. If any of you guys have any questions, please do type it in. And then I think that we are also going to have a Q&A section at the end. So I can unmute you guys if you actually would like to speak to Marcia on the line, which will be an amazing opportunity because I know she's a very busy lady. She has a very young baby and another one as well. You've got a couple, haven't you, Marcia?
I've got three under four to keep me busy.
3 under 4 and runs a business. So this lady walks the walk. This is what I say. You can have a business and children and family as well. So she is living proof of this. And her little one was off today. And she has been a bit stressed getting it all together, but it's worked. So, yeah, if you'd like to speak to Marcia direct, that would be great. And we can do that at the end. That's absolutely super. So over to you, Marcia. Thank you very much.
Fabulous. So I just want to give a big warm welcome to everybody here on the call tonight. And I'd also like to thank Amanda for inviting me to present and share some colour nuggets this evening. So I'd also like to just congratulate you for showing up because you're taking out the time from your busy lives to come to this webinar. And what I plan is that I have a colourful, enlightening presentation for you with a few light bulb moments thrown into the mix. So I suggest if you have a pen and paper ready, just in case you want to note down a few tips and info. And also if you could switch off, make sure your phone is switched off because I will be taking you through a practical exercise throughout when we go through the webinar. So this is the first step. Oops, it's gone now. Let me go back here. I pressed. So every step is a step in the right direction. So I just wanted to put that in here first because you being here is telling me that you're aware that something is missing or could be missing in your business process. And I always say that having the awareness is really half the battle, and it's really you taking that first step. Okay, so I've got a bit heady. Sorry, 1 minute. And it's really taking having that color lens, which I'll share with you tonight, will really mean that the battle is won. But just before we start, actually, what I'd like to maybe ask is a couple of questions. How many of you here have considered that colour was important in your marketing? If you could just maybe type something in there to the
I'll read
chat
them out.
box.
I'll read them out as soon as people have typed in.
Yeah.
So, yeah, how many of you have considered that colour was important in your marketing? I certainly didn't.
I mean, yeah, you might have had an inkling, but really, how many have you really considered that the colour that's around you and that's in your logos and your website is actually influencing you in attracting clients, and also influencing you and how you feel?
Okay, so I have Alex has said it's very important, and actually I know for a fact that I've nagged her to put a little bit of colour in, but I might have that completely wrong in her website. Definitely, says Helen. Didn't think about it, no, said April. Pat said that she did realise. Catherine, yes, but she doesn't know much about it, so it's going to be perfect for Catherine. Yes, Ruby was aware about colour and branding. And Sarah was, particularly if it was put off or to encourage people. So Sarah kind of understands that. That's great. Ruby says it's very important. Marion says, yes, really important in saying who you are. Zalika says no. Hannah says, I have. Bear says yes, and Lane says absolutely. So people understand it's important, which is why we're here today, which is fab.
Excellent, that's fabulous. And how many of you thought that colour was an important part in attracting the right clients and an abundance of them?
My answer is definitely I wasn't aware of how important it was. And I say I'm a client attraction expert. So, but yeah, Sarah says yes, she was aware, and so does Helen.
Great. Angela, I'm just going to give you just one more question then. And how many of you here are feeling pretty frustrated by the fact that you're not attracting all the clients you want to attract?
I bet you get a lot of yeses for that one. Yeah, we've got yes, yes, yes. Hannah, Marion, Lane, Davila,
Great.
Zalika, Pat. Zalika's me, she says. Alex is on the right path. Yes, so she should be after working with me for 6 months. Helen says probably. Bear says yes. So people are a little bit frustrated, I think. Most of them are frustrated. So they're going to learn some nuggets today. Thank you.
Great. Excellent. Thank you very much. That's really great insight. Well, I better get on, and then I better get rid of some of that frustration. I just first of all will just speak a little bit about me, just to expand slightly. So I just want to give you how I found colour. So I found colour when I was living in London, and I had stomach issues, and I had gone to lots of different consultants, and they said basically there was nothing wrong with me. So I started looking down the complementary therapy field, and I came across colour therapy, which really spoke to me, because I just felt there's the scientific proof, there's a kind of a mystic side to it, but there's also a practical side to it. So I contacted the lady at the time who I found the ad, and she wasn't doing consultations actually, but she was doing a certificate course. So I was pretty desperate actually, and I thought, you know what, I'm going to do the course. So it was a 6-month course all about colour, and I was totally blown away. So within 6 weeks, I had literally no more stomach problems. But then not only that, but my life totally changed. So I had bought a car, changed jobs. I'd already spent 14 years talking about buying a flat. And within 5 months of starting that colour therapy course, I had found my dream flat. And I was like, oh my God, I was in the flow. And people were looking at me saying, there's something different about you, but I just can't understand what. So because I got so much out of it, I went on then to do the diploma, and I became a colour therapist. And for me, I use colour, it's really a philosophy, it's a science, it's a way of being, and it's awareness that once you kind of get aware about it, then you really start seeing from a totally different perspective. So have thought about, you know, covering 3 main issues, and how colour will help you solve those, and I'll be giving examples of how I've worked with clients and seen that myself. Okay, So the first thing is the cost of not knowing. So on some level, like it is, for you not, doing all the right things and still not attracting all the clients that are there for you. The other aspect I'm going to cover is that you're doing everything you're told, but it doesn't work out according to plan. So as a result of that, you could get feeling frustrated, doubtful, and you end up selling from a place of desperation. So I'm going to demonstrate here how colour can stop that in its tracks. And then the third issue I'm going to look at is that right now you have no control over how people feel about your website, about your logos. And in fact, it's really a reflection of you when people go on your website. So you've no other way of people getting to know you, and that's thanks to the internet too. They can't actually come into where you are and have a chat and get to know you. They just go to your website and they get a feel for how you are, and the next to see then if they're going to take the next step and reach out to you. Okay? So the cost of not knowing. The secret power of colour is really, she has signals and codes, okay? And at the moment, you are in the dark about this. So you don't know, there's the saying, you don't know what you don't know. And when I just really thought about this, think, look at that, look how much we are in the dark in our lives. So it's the not knowing is really one of the things that's costing you. And tonight I would like to give you another way of looking at things so that more light can fill into those dark spots in your life, okay? Because the thing is that colour, it exists and it's a big influence on people, whether you know it, whether you've got the awareness about it or not, okay? So I just want to ask, for example, you this morning, when you got up this morning, what colour did you put on? And do you know why you chose that colour? Just see if they put in something there.
Yeah.
So, for example,
Okay.
You're getting up and you're saying, yeah, I'll choose. Why did you choose, let's say, a red or a blue outfit?
Okay, so April says,
Do you know why that is?
well, yeah, she chose purple, but doesn't know why she chose purple. I chose black,
Okay.
and that's because that's the only colour I wear.
Right.
Helen, blue and aqua, and Alex again, black. That's because all she has. Black because I stepped back is Sarah. Orange and black says Tara. I chose teal says Nicola. I love these colours says Helen, so that'll be why she chose those. Brown from Comfort with Green as St. Patty's Day aftermath. Excellent, Kim. Blue, one of her tops, says Marion. So that's very, very apt. What colour did you wear yesterday, Marcia, actually? Bright green jacket, says Kathleen.
No, I did wear green.
Did you? Just because you could. Grey because it suits me,
Yeah.
says Hannah. Dressed in dark blue and green to look smart for an important meeting, said Ruby. Purple, says Nicola. Black because it's slimming on my leg, says Tara. Bear says he's lost audio. Okay. If you can log off and log on again, but he might not hear me. And Nicola says that she chose those because she feels good in these colours. So what colour did Nicola say? Let me just go back. Teal, says Nicola. That's
right. So it's true because the colour we wear makes us feel something. And from my perspective, I feel that colour gets us to feel, and feelings are one of our guides in our lives about feeling. And because we live in such a busy world and there's so many different distractions, on some level we have forgotten how to feel, and colour gets us to connect in with that feeling, which gets us connected with our intuition and helps us make the right choices, but also helps us project what we want to project. So I'll just give us a small little summary of some of the colours that came up there. So black. So black, it is it's kind of a safe colour. It goes with everything. The meaning of that colour is that there is a sense of mystery. And that those that wear a lot of black, that you would be very creative, but you're really not ready to show that to the world at the moment. And it's quite interesting, because if you think about like the business world, a lot of people wear black, like in businesses, because they're not showing their true colors. In fact, they're in business, they're keeping some cards to their chest, whereas if you're more wearing, like, let's say the violet color, so the violet message, if you're particularly drawn for that today, it's saying that, this is really a time for you to connect with that spiritual part of you, to take responsibility. It's a great color if you wear it a lot, because it's saying that you are destined for success. So it's kind of a color that's purifying, clearing the way, clearing you, so that you really can be that shiny star that I see us all are. And maybe those stars have dimmed throughout our lives because of our life experiences, our culture, our country, all these other things. And what I have found is that colour really gets that dimmer back up. Okay, so violet is a good colour for purification and clearing. Then the teal colour, that's a really lovely colour because it contains the blue and the green ray. So the blue is really about, speaking your truth, the sky being the limit, getting yourself out there, but it's all coming from a heart-centered place. So really what you say comes from the heart, okay? And that will also, those kind of colours too will calm you and center you and have you in a very harmonious place. And then the orange is really about creativity, but it's really connecting to that feminine creative power. There is that kind of, having that kind of sex appeal that women have, curvy and feminine and positive and joyful and creative. They're all those aspects. But there's another message underneath that then would be that it's helping you maybe to let go of maybe long-standing hurts that no longer serve you, or things that are just no longer serving you. And now, more than ever, from where we're at and the world we live in, it is really about you're stripping away all the things that are not true to you, so that you are living authentically in what in who you really are. Okay, so that just gives you a bit of a
That's brilliant.
A snippet of a few of those color meanings. What I'm going to do, so you can see now, once you have a little bit of knowledge about the color, then you can actually go and say, right, what do I want to accomplish today? Let's say that you're going for a meeting to the bank manager, and you want to have some a loan, for example. A good colour to wear for that is blue or kind of indigo tones. And it's very interesting because if you look at banks, they have those colours. Well, they used to actually have more of those colours in their branding, because it was to give us trust to hand over our money. So when somebody is sitting across the way from you, and they actually are taking in the colour from their eyes, that sends a message from the retina to the brain, and then that sends another message to the endocrine system, which is really responsible for our hormones and how we feel. And so the different colors have different signals. So when someone is wearing blue, without you consciously being aware, you are inclined to trust them more than you would if they wore another color. For example, black is black. Wearing it all the time, there is a kind of, you'd be a little bit wary, let's say, because there's a mystery that there's nothing. Black is no color, so there's nothing being shown.
No personality comes across, I suppose. Is that...
Exactly, yeah.
I have a question from Helen actually saying, what does white mean?
Yeah, white, it's really for that person they for now they need to feel safe. Okay? And what I mean by that, like with white, you can't go wrong, because white, even in a room, you can put any other colours into the room and it'll go there. Or if you put white on yourself, you can put any other colour and it'll go with it. So there's a sense of that about it. But it's a sign too for purification, like purity, but all and innocence. Like that person has an inner beauty and an inner innocence about them. But it would also indicate there's maybe there is a little bit of hurt there, and maybe they're kind of covering up. Now that could be covering up to the outside world, or even covering up to themselves, and just not ready to be fully honest with what's going on for them and what action they need to take to change that.
Okay.
Okay.
I've had an interesting question. I don't know whether you can answer it. Alexandra is an absolute karate expert, and she said, "Why are the karate suits white?" Would you be able to work that one out? Because they are, aren't they? And then the colour is the bit around the middle, the belt.
That's right, yeah. Yeah. So if you think about karate, I mean, that itself, there is a kind of a purity to that too, you know. It's kind of, it's kind of like a baptism, you know, like when you get baptized, you have generally in white. It's the same with karate. They're being baptized, I suppose. You know, they have this. They're being handed down a very sacred, useful skill that will actually serve them. And because it's you could knock somebody to the floor. It keeps the darkness, you know, out of that physical activity.
Wow.
And what I mean by, you know, so you can kind of understand why having that white, then, you know, when there's white, when it's clear, there's no anger, it's very taken for, it's purity, it's taken for what it is.
Okay, that's brilliant. Thank you.
Yeah. That was a big question. So thanks for that. Yeah. So I'm now going to take you through an exercise just to show you because really we've only just got started, but you really are living in the dark at the moment when it comes to not knowing the secret power of colour, which has dated back, I mean, it goes back to 500 BC, and because it was so powerful, a lot of the manuscripts were burned because they didn't want, and this is like, you know, the governments at that time, those in power, they didn't want the people to get access to this information because they would be so powerful. Okay? And the great thing is that in the last, the 18th, 19th, 20th century, there's been a lot of research and scientific proof coming in again about the impact that colour has on our mind, body, spirit, our metabolic system, and on every aspect of our lives. So I just want you to get into the feeling by taking you through this exercise, so you can see for yourself what I mean by living in the dark. Okay, so I just want you to close your eyes, and I want you to imagine yourself in a dark room. There's no light. You can't see a thing. Now check in with how you feel as you're in this dark room. You start stumbling and feeling your way around the room. Just observe how you're feeling. You're putting your hands out and you're searching for a light switch, but you can't find it. And after a few minutes of fumbling, you sense something. Is it a light switch? You push it, but it's not working. And then you try to get more feeling about this switch, and you try to pull it. And then you decide that you pull it to the side. And it doesn't work either. And suddenly you just swipe your hand on the surface of the light switch and the light goes up slowly. And voila, you have finally succeeded in increasing the dimmer to light up the room. And you're in a lovely room. It's got lovely windows and doors, beautiful furniture and decoration. And you're relieved to have found out how the switch worked so that you can now see. So this is how people feel when they don't fully understand the power and impact of colour. You're fumbling around life, you're pushing, you're pulling, when all you need to do is just swipe that switch and you have the answer. Intuitively, you have some idea of what colour is, but you didn't know how to put on the switch, and that's my aim tonight, to show you to live in a colourful life, in a colourful room. So let me explain this point a little further, just by telling you a story of what happened to one of my clients, okay? So one of my clients, she was in the dark, fumbling around life, just like that visualization. But she quickly came into the knowing. And this really enabled her to do what she was meant to do. She was running her business, doing the marketing, but really found it difficult to sell her packages. And she was sick and tired of it, as she knew she had this great gift to help people, but she didn't seem to be able to get her name out there. She had such a great heart, and she just couldn't understand why it wasn't working. So I went into the energy of what was going on for her and those feelings, and explored where she was holding that in her body and what colour it represented. And what came in that experience was actually a pattern that she was not aware of, that came from her childhood. And it was playing out in her business and she didn't even know it. So what we did was, by her having that awareness, we went in and I used colour to enable her to explore this block that was holding her back. And we really dug deep and figured out where exactly that was playing in her business, but also in her life. And this pattern actually had come from her parents when she was young. They were arguing, and she used to go hide. And in business, you can't hide. You need to show yourself. You need to reveal yourself. You need to express your true colours. You need to put yourself out there for clients to find you. So by having that awareness and using the colour, we actually changed this pattern. And in addition, I worked with her soul colours using colour numerology. And I aligned her to her truth and her true soul. So after the personalised packages, she felt as if she had found her true self and got great strength and confidence, and was now vibrating differently through the vibration of the colour that resonated better with her, knowing her true self. As a result of that, she was lighter and happier, and this transcribed into her business and her life, and she was able to move forward with ease and grace. It actually changed her energetic field, and it had an impact on how she felt. And as a result of that, she found, without her doing anything, that she started to resonate with more of her ideal client. And in a few days after, she actually made 10,000 euros. Now, there's actually a very good quote that I'm going to share with you. it's your outer world is a mirror of your inner world. And that's what was showing up for her. In relation to her soul colours, what I did was I went into her date of birth and I figured out what her soul personality colour was, what colour personality she was, so what colours she was born with, what colour and attribute that brings is there to help her, and an understanding also of why has she come back here, what has she come back to learn. And having all that information meant that she had much more knowledge to use, and much more of an understanding about who she was. Now, this example that I'm telling you about, and in my experience with my clients, this is only one example, but there happens to be about, in 90% of cases that I work with, this is the kind of experience they have. Now, why it doesn't work for the other 10% is that 8% of people are not ready for the changes, because in order, even coming in this webinar tonight, you'll get the information about the colour, but if you don't apply it, or if you don't start, exploring and learning more about how you can really use this in your life, then you're not going to be in the 90% bracket. But if you, so that's the 8%. Then you have 2% who just choose to stay where they are in the dark, because actually it does take effort and courage to look inside, to change our rituals and our habits, so that it becomes the norm. So this is where the magic of colour happens, and this is what I see so often, because colour, it has its own vibration. So each colour ray has its own vibration, its own level of consciousness and uses. And by tapping into those vibrations, then this is where you have the transformation, but you really get aligned to what you really know inside. Okay? So what I see is that, and this has happened in this particular client's case, is that she was this bright star when she first was born, but her life experience, her family, her culture, when things don't start going right for us, then we don't feel good, and all of those are playing in the background of our business. And I can tell you that they're also being picked up by our clients. It's like sometimes if I think of somebody, and then that person will pick up the phone and ring me, and I'm like, oh my God, I just spoke with you. So it's the same with your clients. If you're sending out your marketing and you yourself are not coming from a place of plenty, on some level your clients and the universe are picking up on that. So you can't have those clients that are really out there matching you until you deal with your own energy, and you can really do that very powerfully with colour. The next thing I'd like to talk about then is the doing everything you're told. So you're doing everything you're told and it doesn't work out according to plan. And then you wonder why. So you start out in business, you do some research, you follow people's templates, you're looking at other people's branding and other people's websites, and you're doing, oh, that's fantastic, I'm going to copy that person's. Or you take a graphic designer and you let them decide what to choose for your website, because they know best, it's their expertise. And anyway, it's just easy because you've lots of other things to be doing when you start out your business. So what happens next is, then it doesn't happen, those clients. So doubt starts coming in. And in my view, doubt cancels all your dreams and desires. And this is what people are picking up on. They're not able also to connect with you and who you really are and your own soul, because you've taken a mix of many people's ideas. You've given the job to your graphic designer, who has a standard graphic chart, but it's not representing who you are. And people are they're not able to connect with you. Colour does speak to us, and it's a language and a code. So it's really important for you to be aware of your own soul colours, but also of who you are, what is your gift, who do you want to serve, what difference do you want to make, what image, how do you want people to feel when they come to your website or when they meet you. And once you have that clarity, then you choose the colours that give off that vibration and that message on a subconscious level. So I'm just going to share another example of this, because colour really is this key that can really unlock you to being stuck. And this is what happened from one of my clients. So she'd heard about me, and we did some colour therapy consultations, and I helped her reveal her true self. And her also, surprisingly enough, she was hiding behind a veil of what she thought she should be. And she wasn't being her authentic self. She was in protecting mode. And she thought she was being professional by the website designer because he gave her a beautiful website, so she thought, but it wasn't a reflection of her. And what I did was I helped her open up her heart to herself and open more. So she started bringing in her true colours into her life and in the clothes she wore in her business. And the website she redesigned with other pictures and other colours that were a true reflection of her. And this has made a huge difference for her. She said that she actually felt even better herself. She had gone to a VIP date for a client, and she said for the first time she had actually chosen orange, and she felt wearing that colour filled with confidence. So of course when she met her client, that client picked up on that, because we pick up on feelings and emotions. It's like when you walk into a room. You can walk into a room and you'll either feel, oh, brilliant, the energy is great and the people are great in this room, or you can walk into another room and you actually have that unnervy, you just won't feel comfortable because maybe the people in the room are feeling uncomfortable, and that is what it's giving off. So this client of mine worked on that, and using colour, it unlocked her confidence and inner power as a coach, and she was then able to connect with her true colours, and as a result of that, her clients came flowing to her. She didn't have to do anything, because when they went on her website, they got a really good feel about who she was, and as a result of that, that client was much more of a match for her. Whereas before they weren't the match. She was desperate for clients, so she'd take anybody. And then the story was, the client wasn't happy, or they were quite demanding, and it was like she had to prove all the time. Whereas once she let go of all of that and went into the real true person and brought in the colours that gave that image off, then she started attracting much more of who she was. And this is where it comes into having no control over how people feel about your website. And what I'll do in a few minutes is I'll just show you, I've got permission from Amanda to show 2 of her websites, just to give you a bit of an inkling to yourselves, and we'll maybe get a discussion going just to see how you feel when you see those 2 kinds of websites. Because the design, look and feel, if you haven't put thought into it, then it doesn't connect with your soul. And therefore, it doesn't connect with your client's soul, okay? And as colour, like I was looking the other day and I went into the shop and I took a photo of Coca-Cola. Coca-Cola, I couldn't believe, have now brought out a bottle with green, calling it Coca-Cola for life, okay? And when you see that these kind of brands are tapping into the power of colour, then you think, yeah, we really are onto something here. And what they did was they've chosen green, and apparently it has 1/3 fewer calories than your standard red label Coke. and it also contains less sugar, and they've used stevia as well in it. Now, when you look at that, automatically on a subconscious level, you start thinking, oh, you don't actually think, oh, the red is not good for you. You think, oh, I'm interested. You know, there's something natural. It's even saying that there's a natural source. It's nature. This might be, you could be fooled into giving it a go, giving it a try. So do you see the power of how they have used the green? Because green is a colour, it's nature. You'll find also that a lot of organic bio products have green. It's telling us that it's healthy, it's healing, it's balancing, and you generally feel good in nature. So of course what they've done is they've taken their advertising nature in there behind. So then you start to feel maybe slightly different towards Coca-Cola. And they're also telling you that it's life, and green is linked to life. If you look at nature, nature is full of life. It's about growth. It's abundance. So by having this kind of knowledge, you will see that by looking at the color of your logo, it's helping business owners like you to attract more clients and to have business success. Because when people visit your website, they're going to get a feel for who you are and what you do. Because what I find about color as a language, it's like if you're living in France and you have your pidgin French, so some of you here tonight said that, yeah, you were aware of color and you had some inkling and you knew a little bit about what color did for you, but you don't know the full meaning, the psychology of the color, the meaning of the color, your color soul and what it means. And that's like that you can't fully embrace, like you would be in a country, you can't fully integrate yourself into France unless you're fluent. And it's the same with life and in your business. If you don't know the language of color, then you can't fully get the most that's there for you without having this knowledge. Now, I just want to show you, I'm just going to show you the websites just to show you to see what I mean here. Now, let's just look at, can you see the Clients in Abundance website?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can see it.
Right. Now, just look at this, okay? Now, I have to say, it is a nice website, Amanda.
That's fine.
And I think I love the shade of pink. So I had done, if you don't mind me sharing some of your color numerology, will I?
That's absolutely fine.
Amanda?
Yeah, of course, go for it.
So Amanda's color personality is green, and the complementary color of green is pink. So in fact, green and pink are actually very similar vibrationally. Pink is probably just softer. Green is more healing. But interesting enough, around her head, she has the green nature in there. So from that point of view, she's also, she has tapped in a little bit to her own color. And the other color that she has been born with is violet. So she's put up the violet up here. Okay? Now, yeah. And if you look here, you see, I would recommend here that she would use probably more of, because what Amanda does is Amanda does open up your heart, and she really gets you speaking from the heart and showing yourself from the heart, which is really linked to the kind of turquoise color here. When I look at this website, I just think, yeah, it's okay, but it's not, it doesn't give the warmth and the loving, the true loving energy that I see from Amanda. Now I'm going to show you her new one, and this one is more magical. Now, personally, what I would do, Amanda, there is I would change the grey to more of that. So, do you see that blue kind of tone that you have over the home?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd make that tone, that colour.
Oh, okay, that's interesting.
Because I'll tell you why. Because you have the pink in there, that's getting people walking from a heart-centered place. And also when you actually look at that, and you've got the white in there, which is really about, that is, in white, it's purity, it's magic, it's light, it's sparkle, it's got a lot of, there is something in there that when I look at that, there's kind of that sense of hope that you get from it, okay? With the grey can be a good colour, but the only minus about the grey is that it makes people indecisive.
Oh, that's interesting.
Okay. Yeah, if people are, because grey is made up of black and white.
Yeah.
And it's kind of a wishy-washy colour. So it's like it's neither black, it's not white, but it's in between. So as a result of that, on a subconscious level, or people that wear a lot of grey, they tend to be a bit indecisive, or they certainly take their time in making decisions.
Okay.
Whereas if you have this tone here, it's more of a very soft turquoisey blue. And what that does is that colour is a colour that is helping people when they come on. First of all, they'll feel at ease. And secondly, it gets them connecting their heart with what they say, which is what you do anyway. You bring that out of them. And the other point is that it has the vibration of green, which is linked to money and abundance.
Okay.
So you're tapping in to the vibrations of those colours.
Lucky husband, he's got some work to do tonight.
He'll hate me. Just to ask, just to see what you and the call felt from, we'll say, the clients in abundance. And if you look now at the Awaken Your Magic, what did you feel when you looked on that? Because we have this knowledge. We talk actually about colour. We say, oh, I'm feeling blue, or that one is green for envy, or oh, she's showing her true colours now, or I'm tickled pink. You see, we use all those, but we don't really have the full awareness about the truth, the depth behind what that means.
Yeah.
And that's what I do.
That's brilliant. If people would like to give some feedback on that and really let your heart and your eyes tell you what you think of those two, that would be great. The other thing as well, Marcia, I was thinking was maybe if a couple of people wanted to maybe give their website address and maybe have a look at yours, that would be quite nice for those on the call.
Perfect.
Okay, so Sarah's given up. The new website is friendlier and alive. The first one is much more businesslike. Yeah, you see, Sarah, I am very torn between those two. I can be really businesslike, so I'm quite straight down the line. So that's true. But as I am developing, I feel that I am becoming more spiritual and heart-led with everything that I do. And it's the journey, I guess, I've been on over the past couple of years that you can see in the two websites, which is really interesting.
Yeah.
And then let's have a look. Alex says, Awaken Your Magic looks to me more professional or authoritative. That's interesting. That's Alex. I was really drawn to the second site, said Claire. Amanda, are you wanting to connect with women as the new site is very feminine? You know what, Nicola? I get massive results when I work with women. I really enjoy working with them and having the connection. So yes, if it draws women, that's fine. I do have men clients too. As you can see with my first website, I can be quite masculine. But yeah, I do draw a lot more women than I do men. Right, and what's well, the pink is so much softer and kinder. Now you illustrate it, the black is very stark and heavy. So the difference between the two is really showing for people.
Yeah.
Patta says, I love this and it absolutely resonates, which is great. I like the pink in the first site. I'm not a fan of the grey in the new website. It does not capture your personality. I agree with Marcia to lighten it up. That's from Davila. And actually, I've spoken to Davila before, so she's got an idea of my personality, which is great. The second one is right on the blue. The blue and green is more inviting. Wondering what my logo colours mean, says April. April, what are your logo colours, darling? Have you got a website that we can look at? And let me give you another one. Right, so I've got here. Let me just copy this in for you so that you can get it. Is your Skype open, Marcia?
Oh, yeah. No, but I'll open it.
Okay. I'm just opening mine and I will give you some links to some websites that people have put in. There's one. And let me see. There's another one here. Have a look at these.
Right, let me look at this one here. Yep. Right, so now let me look at this one. Now, this is interesting. So, it's very good that you have, and it's interesting that you've chosen the yellow. You'd be very intuitive because yellow as a colour is actually very good for weight loss. So what I would say, have said to clients who are overweight and can't, just need to kind of watch what they're eating, to put a yellow picture on the fridge, because when you go to the fridge, you'll see the yellow, and it means that you'll have less of an appetite. Can you believe that? So that yellow. Now, what I do, what I love is I love this color here, this lemony color, and also when you even look at that, you start thinking, like of lemons, like being healthy. They say, putting a slice of lemon into your water is very good. So straight away, when you look at that, people will actually, on a subconscious level, start connecting with, detox, being healthy. The green, that contains also, it's a lime green, so it represents new beginnings, clarity, freshness. But there's something, when I look at that, to be quite honest, there's something that doesn't feel right.
I think it's just the colours, because the rest is on the template. Hannah's actually having a website devised by one of the guys I recommend for it. So you can see a little bit of my clients and a bunch of stuff at the bottom. So, but yeah, I think, what do you think of the colours?
No, but I think definitely the colours are perfect. The only reservation I have is the Balanced Weight Loss course, that colour. I would change that, and I'll tell you why. You have to be very careful with yellow, because yellow, some people don't like yellow because it's actually linked to self-confidence, right? And a lot of people would have to have done, particularly those that are overweight, will definitely have a confidence issue. And when they look at that, it'll turn them off, because they're not ready to take the yellow yet. Okay? So what you could do is you could actually, now the complementary color of yellow is violet, but then you have too much colors in there. I'll need to go away and just sit with that, and look at it and see what I get, because I'd also like to maybe look at, because I will, at the end of this webinar, I am going to offer, I have 3 places left for a colour discovery session, and then we can just explore a little bit maybe of your colour personality, just to see what that is and see if we can incorporate that more into your website.
Excellent.
Okay, so if you want to apply for that, then just put that in the comments so I know that it's you, and and I'll do my best to give you one of those slots, okay?
Lovely.
Now,
Okay, so
let's look at the other one. Right, so this is very businesslike. Now, so it's good that you've chosen the violet, because that is you're taking responsibility, and that's what you're putting out there. That you are going to take, you're going to give them some support. You're going to concentrate on important matters for them. And with violet, that's the message from violet actually. And usually violet personality types, if you give them something, you know it's done very well. And they take the responsibility, they do it, and they do it extremely well. Their only issue is that they would have difficulty delegating, because they feel that they can only do it best. So that's one thing. Again, the grey, it's fine, but you could maybe consider using kind of more of a golden colour for that vase, because then that means that you're bringing in the complementary colour of the violet. So see if that maybe resonates with you. But yeah, it's businesslike. It's that colour is violet is saying what you've said on there actually. So well done you. I'm just going to do the coaching for a happier you. So this is a lovely. I love the color of the sun and the sky there. So this is a lovely website, and here you've used that shade of blue, which is really about trusting. So that color is about trusting. It's this, sky being the limit, getting people to, it's communication, coming out of themselves. I love here your logo, and it's great that you've put in the kind of orange tones in there, because in fact what you've done is that you have these orange is happiness, and we say that it's the color, it's the grin of the Cheshire cat. It's happiness, it's positivity, it's creativity. Then you've also got this kind of turquoise. So again, that's really coming from a heart-centered place and getting them to put themselves out there. And then they're connecting in with that spiritual side of themselves, so that they're actually getting it all. So when I look at that, there's a sense of kind of balance coming from that. So it's a very for me, that I would consider that quite a very inviting, clear, concise website. One thing you have there, the coaching for a happier you, I would look at maybe changing that to a kind of an orangey colour and just see how that looks, because you are coaching someone to be happy. So if you have the orange in there, then you would be bringing more of that happy aspect into your business. Right, so root. So this, so this color is is the green. It's harmony. Now, this this shade of green for these ones, I would be a bit careful of those, and I'll tell you why. So each green is a big, each color, there's so many different ranges of that color. These particular color shades here, they are kind of signifying something like, it's like a kind of a matte color. So it's more the darker side of the green, and as a result of that, it kind of on a subconscious level, it's kind of, there's dead wood, you know, there's stuff kind of really that's gone, that's no longer there for you, that you could have another, in fact, you could have another color in there. You could use the complementary color pink. You could, so again, you know, you're working on the whole self. So the whole self really is, I mean, it's golden kind of colors. That could be something that could work for you. But I would say it's nice, it's calming, but it doesn't, I think when I connect with you, your energy, you are more outgoing than I pick up from this website.
That's interesting. Okay. It's just a few, just take a random couple off there.
Yeah.
This one will be interesting. I've been fighting Alex for a long time to put more colour on this one. So
yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Now I love the picture in the middle.
Excellent.
So you were talking about urban women fitness, okay? Pushing boundaries for physical, mental, spiritual growth and development. And the black that does the opposite, because what that does, I mean, in some respects, the black does put up a boundary, okay? Because you're not, you know, when you see black, now black has a professional side to it as well, because, you know, it has, you know, you've got that elegant black dress. But I think definitely you could do with, you could make more of this by definitely changing the color. Because that lovely green there that you have is beautiful. And because you're talking about, you know, this, you know, fitness and growth and development and spirituality and all, you know, and physical, they're all linked to the color green. So and I love that shade there that you have, you know. So I don't know if you would consider changing that, because yeah, it's lovely, but personally for me, I wouldn't be, it's too business looking.
That is,
but if that's what you want, you know, it depends on.
That is the.
Is that all right?
That is the ideal market.
Yeah, well then.
Women who are stressed out and a bit depressed and suffering, really. If you scroll down, Marcia, is there any pink left on the page? She does have a dash of pink somewhere. There you go.
Oh yeah, that's lovely. Yeah.
Yeah, you like the pink.
That's a lovely. Yeah, and this color. Do you know what this color does? This is the color for Business Acuum.
Okay.
It's a great color to have in business. That's, I mean, if in my logo, that's what I have. I have green, which is my color personality, and I have magenta, a little bit like that, because it's what I do. I'm, you know, it's nurturing. I nurture people. I heal people. I want to, you know, to grow my business. So that vibration, you know, that color, there's a sense of richness about that color as well, you know.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, so if your target audience are business women, then that black will attract those kind of business hard, you know, those hard business women, because you know, it's more the male energy, and obviously what you want to do is to, you know, to get them into more of the, you know, to bring in the more feminine energies in the business world and in their life, you know.
That's brilliant. Thank you.
So I'll just look at one more.
I was going to say, just do one more, because I'm aware of time.
Yeah. Oh, this is lovely. Yeah. So now, do you see, now for me, if I look at the urban women, I think urban women could learn a bit from Catherine's website, because it's still, you know, it's professional, but there's something softer. And when I look even at you know, these women that are stressed out, hard business women, they are underneath everything looking for a bit of softness. They're yearning for that bit of softness. They have been working in, you know, in the business world, and women really have had to fight where they've got today, you know. So they could be actually, they're just worn out and tired from it, and they just want inside themselves to have that softness, that to take that pressure off. So you know, you're leading change in the city. So, you know, so that color, it's a really lovely color, and that shade of the where you have the schedule now and where you have the cuffley, you know, there's something earthy about that as well, you know. So it's grounding, and you also then, Catherine, have the lovely blue, which is, I don't know, it has that kind of caring softness that they're going to pick up, you know.
It's interesting because
it's like
much in line with Catherine's personality as well. So that's
it's
really comes through in the colours.
Yeah, no, it's really lovely. It's really lovely.
Excellent.
And there's a softness, you know. You can just can you just check in, girls there? Just check in. I mean, you know this as well. Just check in now there and see where does this resonate in your body? Like where are you resonating when you look at that? What does that bring up for you?
If you want to share, do put it in so I can just share. Alex says it's good. A little bit more, please, Alex.
Because
yeah, it's good.
That gets me in the heart, you know. Just check in. You all have it. Check in. When you look at that, check in with your feeling. How are you feeling when you look at that?
Okay, so Meryl says calmness. Sarah says it brings up for me that I'm no longer in the corporate world. Nicola says it got me in my heart too. And Alex says, I understand softness. Mine is very strict and serious. And April says balance and happy. That's lovely.
Yeah, you see?
Yeah.
So I hope, you know, that's just, I hope, you know, you've just kind of opened your eyes, like we're talking about websites, but underneath, by using the colour, you can see now that people are picking up from your website the colours, and they're resonating with it, and it's bringing up something in them.
Yeah.
So what you need to do is you need to look deeper inside yourself and find out who you truly are. Who is, for example, Catherine Cuffley? What does she stand for? What's her passion? What's her mission? What aspects of herself is there? She could also use these to aspects of herself that, you know, that she's come into this world, that maybe she has all of, you know, so many different attributes, but maybe she's only tapping into half them. So by using some colors, you can bring that aspect out of yourself more and start using it. Mm-hmm. And once you have that color awareness, like I had a client, I did a color reading on her, and turned out her personality was yellow, and she was living beside a yellow house for about 6 years, and she never saw it until after she had a color session with me. Can you believe that? Wow. So you're not, you know, it's like that. Yeah, you're just not seeing. Okay? So once you have that color awareness, like even tomorrow, just become color aware. See how the color makes you feel, and see if that makes a difference. Okay? So, you know, after this presentation, you know, there's going to be 3 different paths people are going to take, okay? So you're going to end up, well, one will probably go down the path of saying, right, that's very nice, but maybe he's a bit skeptical and thinking, yeah, maybe it's a bit woo-woo actually, so they'll just leave it at that, which is totally fine, you know. There's a little bit of woo-woo in there, and there's nothing wrong with woo-woo. And that's no problem. That's totally fine. So that's one path you're going to take. Then there'll be some of you here that will take another path and go, God, this stuff is fantastic. I'm going to go away and I'm going to do something with it. And, it's brilliant, that I've given you enough information to kind of just to open your eyes, which really was the purpose of this webinar, just to show you that colour really there's much more to it than the Colour Me Beautiful, than what you know. And that, that you can maybe make some changes based on what I've shared here tonight. But there are going to be some of you here today who are going to be at a point of interest, and you just want more. So I have, like I've said earlier on, that I have decided to open up a limited number of spots, because I have very little time with my own business being so busy and 3 young kids. So I've decided to open up 3 sessions, and it's not going to be right for everybody. So I really want you to really think about, if you want to take this step, I will offer a 60-minute session on Skype, and what we'll do is we'll really get to the core of you and what makes you tick. And what you come away with will be that you'll be able to connect with your soul and understand how to use colour so you're selling from a place of plenty. Okay, so there's limited space. So what I can do, I think if I go back to my slide, we've gone through that at the, that's coming up. Anyway, it's www.colourharmony.com/apply, and if you fill in that form, and then I will choose 3 people, and we can set up some time together and get going with applying what resonates with you and what your truth is, so you can be attracting all the clients you want.
Brilliant.
So if you have applied some of what you've learned, it would be great to hear from you, down the line, just to see the impact that that is making in your business.
Brilliant. I've got Martha, who is happy to speak to you. I think she's a client that's worked with you before. I'm just going to unmute her.
Yeah.
As well. Hold on a second. I need to find her.
All right.
Unmute, and I'm going to mute me. Okay, Martha, I'm passing it over to you. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hi, Marcia.
Hi, Martha.
How are you? I just wanted to stop by and listen to your webinar. It's fantastic.
Excellent. So
and I just wanted to... What?
One, yeah.
Yeah, no, I just wanted to, just, I suppose, really, you helped me so much that I just said I'd put in a question and just say, I just wanted to say really how much you did help me, and it was amazing. Like, I have to say, I was a little bit skeptical before I did a session with you, as you say, a little bit woo-woo. But I couldn't believe the impact you've really had on me as a person, but on my business as well. And like my website, I changed my website completely after working with you, and I think it has actually really brought out the real me, and I feel really a lot more in alignment with my business, to be honest,
Yeah. And what do you think, Martha, you changed, changed in you? What kind did you change? Habits? Like, what was it that was different?
I think you really just, and I know this may sound a bit kind of, I think you really just opened up my heart a little bit to my real self, and when you did that, I actually was able to be me more, and the more that, the more the real me came out, which I really feel is actually going to attract the right people to me now as clients. I kind of think that I was doing everything I thought I should be doing, and I didn't realize it until after the session with you how much I was kind of trotting a walk that wasn't my walk. I don't know. It's very hard to explain, to be honest. But yeah, no, massive impact. And even my clothes. I don't know if I had got back to you and told you that. you know, I choose color now a lot more. I make sure that I'm wearing colors. I make sure that I used to wear black a lot. You know, I wear a lot of orange and purple now, and yeah, I brought color into my life in a lot of ways, not just, you know, it was my business, and I'm noticing color actually. I'm noticing color a lot more, and I'm noticing colors
Yeah.
that go together, and yeah, so it's yeah, it's brought the real me out, I think, really.
And the other thing too, actually, is that if you think about us as, you know, kids, you'll see the kids, you know, there's lots of colourful toys and lots of different coloured clothes, but as adults, those colours are kind of taken away from us. And you know, we don't colour anymore. We don't, you know, we don't take that time to play. And
Yeah.
and I think maybe that's because you're at that, you know, where you are now, that you're playing more with life rather than playing against life, and that's the difference.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, my website previous was very red, and like the colors were chosen for me. And what I've created now since your session, like I chose colors that are really soft and gentle, which, you know, I kind of nearly felt as though I was actually, even when I put my website live, I felt as though I was exposing myself because it was so much me. Whereas the other website wasn't really me, it was just a professional face on a business. Whereas
Yeah.
now I think people, through the colors and through the site, they can connect more with me, and if they feel I'm the right person for them, then well and good. And that's the whole point, is to get the right people. We want to work with the right people, you know.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
No, great. And then the other thing I think about that too is that, and I realized that for myself, because before I used to be, you know, pushing, and pushing gets you nowhere because you're actually not enjoying what you have. You're not coming from a place of plenty when you're pushing. Whereas if you have, you know, your intent, and intent is another aspect that I would put attention on. If your intent is pure and your intent comes through the colors that you have chosen, then people will pick up on that, and then you don't have to do half the legwork because it's already there. It's already, so they're coming to you.
Exactly, yeah. No, and I just wanted to come on and say thanks a million, because you kind of
You're
changed me, and you changed my business, so I really, really appreciate it.
Thanks a million, Martha.
Thanks,
That's great.
Marcia.
It's a pleasure.
Lovely. Well,
Thanks.
thank you, Marcia. That's been absolutely
That was lovely.
I have put
Okay, well, thank you.
I've put a link in, so if people just have a look in the questions box, they should be able to just click straight away for colourharmony.com/apply until I close down the webinar. But we've had some great responses. Everyone's really grateful. We've had people say this is just what they needed, and thank you very much. And it's been really
I'm delighted.
So they're very happy indeed. And I would like to say thank you to everyone who turned up tonight. It is so much about growing your business, is about how much you show up and how much time you invest. I'm a big one to say don't invest a fortune, but do invest time and make sure that it's heart-led. So I'm really pleased that everyone has turned up today, and thank you so much to you, Marcia. It's been amazing and so interesting. Can I have one of those slots for an hour, please?
Yes, yeah, you can.
Thank you, darling.
Of
Now
course
there's
you
only
can.
two left. People fight over that. So
Yeah.
no, that's absolutely
Wonderful. See, they'll be fighting.
Is there anything else you want to add?
Yes, it's 1-to-1. Yeah. No, that's it. Just, it was a pleasure, and I wish you plenty of success.
Lovely, thank you. And I've got lovely, lovely feedback. So thanks, everybody. And
great.
I
Take care.
Yeah, we'll be in touch again soon. Thanks, guys. Bye. Have a great